Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we have a 2022 Roscoe 6 in the stand. It's my new bike and I'm going to do a full review and bike check in this video, so stay tuned. Pack's ready. Here we go. You guys are awesome. Dirty Forks! Alright, so like I say, we got a 2022 Trek Roscoe 6 in the stand. And it is my new bike. So I have had this bike out on quite a few rides now. Like quite a few. And so now I feel like I can give it a nice thorough review. And not just the components, but what I like and what I don't like about it. So let's start up here at the cockpit. So here we've got the Bontrager lock-on grips that come stock on the bike. These grips I like a lot, actually. I have no issues with these grips. It's a single lock-on point, but fantastic grip in my opinion. Works great for me. We got the Shimano Dior 10-speed shifter here. The Shimano MT200 brake levers. My Race Face Chester 740mm bar. This stem is the fun stem. So this stem and the bar is off my old Giant because I just absolutely love them. So I got them to put it on when they did the bike build day for me. And we got a nice little cap there. I'm going to get a little cover for that bolt. Then over here, we got the same thing, except for this here lever operates the dropper post. And dropper post does come stock on this bike, which is great. We'll talk more about that in a minute. This is the standard stack height, which is pretty high. Like that's 40 mil, so that's pretty high. But it puts me in a really good position. I'm really comfortable on this bike, I gotta say. Then coming down to the head tube, it's a tapered head tube, so there's a lot of options there for upgrades in the future. Which then leads me to the fork on this bike. Is a 120mm travel fork Suntour XCM. I know it's a Suntour, but this Suntour performs unbelievable. It really does. I'm very, very happy with this Suntour fork. Yeah, maybe next year when I ride it more, it might get some play, but has absolutely no play so far. It's nice and smooth. It doesn't feel pogo stick like. Yeah, just really awesome. I'm very pleasantly surprised by this fork. It does have a lockout. It is a coil, so it has preload. Obviously, it does not have rebound adjust. But that's a 27.5 plus fork, so it is boost spacing, a 110mm by 15mm through axle. So this does have a through axle, which is great. So then let me just say that the front rotor is a 180 front rotor. And again, I say it's the Shimano MT200 brakes that are on here. So let us move down the bike now. And here we have internal cable routing. We have 2 ports on both sides. And then we have a through port for the dropper post internal routing. And then of course we have the exit. We have the exit point underneath the bike for all the cables for the brakes and the rear derailleur. So that brings us to the rear mech here. So we've got a 10-speed Shimano Dior cassette on here with a 10-speed Shimano Dior derailleur, which does have a clutch system, which is fantastic. I love that it has a clutch on here. We got the standard Trek derailleur hanger in here. And unfortunately, one of the things I don't like about this bike, but not that it really matters much for my type of riding, is it does have a quick release axle on the back. And it is 141 boost spacing, which is the spacing that's kind of on the out right now. But you know, it is what it is, and there's all kinds of adapters and adaptations you can make to get a 148 down to a 141. But this is 141 boost spacing on the rear hub here. Speaking of hubs, let's start with the rear hub. Rear hub sucks. There's no other way to say it. Listen to the sound. You hear that sound? And then, points of engagement, look at that. So it's very low points of engagement. Probably one of my first upgrades I'll do on this bike is a new rear wheel with a much better hub. Probably, I know Bontrager makes a really good rear wheel for this bike, and it's upgradable to 108 tooth points of engagement, which will give this hub like an insane sound, like that buzz sound. So probably that will be the first upgrade that I do on this bike. Then, so let me talk a little bit about the wheel set that's on here. They are MD35, so they're 35 mil internals, which is pretty wide. They are both a tubeless ready system, which is fantastic. If in case I want to upgrade to tubeless, I can. It's already there, ready and waiting. But the way this bike sits right now, there are tubes in the wheels. And then going to tires, it's the Schwalbe Rocket Ronnies here, which I really like. I really like these tires, except for in wet conditions. These tires do not like wet conditions at all. I was slipping on roots, like small roots the other day, but you can see the tread pattern here. You know, it does pick up quite a bit of mud. There's not a whole lot of mud shed that goes on with these tires, so they are pretty slippery. I will tell you that for sure. And then back here, and then these tires are 27.5, obviously, with 2.8 width. And then down here we've got the rear rotor, which is a 160. FSA cranks, alpha drives. This is a square taper bottom bracket threaded, which I really like that. Yeah, I just like the simplicity of that bottom bracket. I've got my old Evo pedals on here, which I love these pedals. I just love them. Once I put my foot on there, it's kind of locked in place, which is great. And then the last point here, component-wise, is the dropper post. So pretty cool. Doesn't have a lot of travel, but it has enough travel for me and for what I need it for. And I use it constant, like I use it all the time. There are quite a lot of reviews on these bikes, so I thank you very much for clicking on this humble channel. So let me just talk a little bit about what I like and what I don't like about the bike quickly here. First of all, climbing. If you're gonna climb like gravel roads or double track or like fire road stuff, this thing climbs unbelievable. The 28 tooth front chainring and a 46 tooth rear cog granny gear that I can climb any road, any hill with this thing. It's nuts, it's crazy, and it climbs so good on those ones. Now, when I'm on the single track, I find that if I'm trying to climb techie stuff, like really steep climbs that are more like technical climbs, I find the bike tends to pull up in the front. Fire roads, gravel roads, no problem. Single track, techie climbs, like short punchy climbs, a little bit of an issue. I find I have to come off the seat and move forward a bit, which then you lose traction on the rear. So it's like a delicate balancing act trying to climb with this thing in the techie single track, punchy climb kind of stuff category. Number 2 is the Rocket Ron tires. Awesome tires overall. Dry to sticky tack, but anything like loose mud or like damp rocks and roots, nope, doesn't want to stick at all. Off camber or like bench cut off camber single track. After it's rained, I take my life in my hands pretty much with these tires. It collects mud and it holds the mud. I find I really have to open up and get the speed going to release the mud off the tires. So yeah, tires, you know, knowing what I know about them now, would I pick them if they were on the bike? No. But then again, it's hard to find a tire that does it all. Internal cable routing. There's definitely no sleeves inside the tube. You can hear the cables rattling on the trail. Going down the trail, you can hear the cables rattling. So that will drive some people nuts. It really doesn't bother me. So there is that. Shifting is perfect. It's flawless. The dropper post has a little bit of play in it, but that's okay for me. I'm okay with that. It works flawless. It has worked flawless since I got the bike, and I use it a ton. Lever feel on the dropper post, you know, it is what it is. It's not a long lever. So brakes are awesome, and the forks, these Center XCMs, I can't say enough good things about them. I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, I like these forks. So yeah, that's pretty much the bike in a nutshell, and absolutely phenomenal bike. It's fun, it's playful, it's a beast. It just takes anything you throw at it, and I love the color too. I am liking the color a lot now. So the more I ride this bike, the more I like it. And there is another thing I don't like about this bike is the hub. The rear hub is probably the thing I most dislike about this bike. It just, you can hear it. It's all, I don't know, grindy sound or whatever. Anyway, it sounds like it just wasn't made well, for lack of better words. So I do plan to upgrade that, probably to a Bontrager wheel. Get the whole wheel with the hub in there. It has the other wheel has 54 points of engagement, and it's upgradable to 108. So right now there's quite a bit of play before it engages. Like that's quite a bit of play. But the biggest thing for me is the sound of it. So yeah, that's the bike in a nutshell, and hope you liked the video. Hope you, if you're thinking about buying this bike, I would say go for it. If you can, get the 7 though instead, but it is more money and it's less available. There's nothing wrong with this bike though. Roscoe 6, nothing wrong with it to get going on, you know, as a beginner to get started on. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.